Alright, what's up, YouTube? I know it's been a while since I posted my last video. And this part in this video alone, it's not clickbait. So it's gonna be basically my 1 month review video plus my pay as well too. Which I'm gonna go over the pay pretty much like towards the end of the video. So basically towards the end of the video, I'll go over the pay. And you guys are just curious, like, is Heartland treating you good? How's Heartland Express for you? Well, I can only speak from my own experience with Heartland Express. But just keep it mindful. Everybody's experience is going to be different than others. You know, like, some of them might be great, some will be okay, some will be terrible. At the end of the day, it just all who you get. Yeah. Let me just refresh that. So it's just whoever you get as your DM. It's just all gonna vary on that. So it's just no matter what any company you go to, it all depends where you get as your DM. So that's all I'm gonna say to that. Because like either your DM could either make you or break you. So for that part. And luckily my DM's been pretty okay for the most part. So and I'm trying to figure out if I should start with the cons first or the pros. You know what? Let's start with the cons first. So, of Heartland Express from my own experience. But keep mindful, my cons could be your pros, and my pros could be your cons. So, just keep that in the back of your guys' head on that part. So, as for company-wise, Heartland, like, I would say the number one con, I feel like to me, but not for other drivers, they don't reimburse you for reserved parking. So, I'm just gonna put that out there. It's just because, like, my last company I went with did that, and this company doesn't. So, just keep mindful if you do have to, because sometimes, like, no matter where you go to, it could be a TA or Petro in Ontario, California, which I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. It's not but just pay spots, so like it just kind of sucks that like you have to pay out of pocket for that and not get reimbursed for it. But yeah, so that's the con for me. But for you, it could be a pro or a con. It all depends on you at the end of the day. Let me think. What else are the cons? I know that was the number one con. And then number two con. I feel like it happens sometimes, but not all the time. Like that. And when it does happen, I always have to address it like that. Sometimes they do play games with your detention pay, I feel like. From my own experience. I can't speak for everybody else's, but because it all depends what you get as a DM at the end of the day. So basically, that's my number one, not number one, but my second con. Is just sometimes they play games with your detention pay. So even though, because it kind of sucks because the only way you'd be qualified for detention is one after your appointment time, not when you get there, basically. So let's say, for example, I get there an hour to 30 minutes early than my appointment time, right? And then I get a doctor before I'm back in the door, right before my appointment time. And it just sucks because, in a way, I feel like I'm just giving away free time like that. I feel like. But I understand most other trucking companies, they base your most detention pays and most other trucking companies kick in about after 2 hours, which I totally understand that. For you, it could be a pro. For me, it's kind of a con because I just feel like I'm just giving away free time. Sometimes it's just kind of annoying that like sometimes you just want to get to your appointment time 30 minutes, an hour early. You know, you want to be to your appointments early, you know. So I feel like to me that's like a con. But I feel like detention pay should automatically kick in as soon as I'm in the door kind of thing. But No trucking company out there is perfect with that, so that's what it is with that. All right, third con. It has to do with the what's that word now? The pay protection plan from Heartland Express. Just in case you don't know what that is, what the pay protection plan is basically like you're basically covered on basically all of your on-duty time, basically. So you pay for when you shut down during a blizzard, and you're paid for basically for layover plus breakdown, I believe, and let's say, and then short haul loads, they do pay for that too as well, extra for that, just in case you don't get over 200 miles for that day or whatever, or for that load, I should say. Well, let's just say day in general. Then you get some extra money out of it. So, I don't need to discuss how layover pay goes because I'm pretty sure most of you guys know what layover pay is. So, alright, so let's just get in with pay protection plan. Why I feel like it's kind of a con for me. So the thing is, there is a catch with the pay protection plan. One of them is you have to work 45 hours a week, and you have to not refuse any loads. And then the third one, which I think that's a major con, and which I'm gonna go over that in a little bit. You can't take home time no more than 48 hours. And to me, I feel like that's a con a little bit because, yeah, so just for those of you who don't know, I'm actually a Southwest regional driver, so I'm mainly from California. So basically, so the raise is kind of short, and I feel like that miles is really not there like that in regional, because for regional you're gonna at least average out at least it ranges between 2 to 500 miles a day. Let's just say that. So either way, you're gonna need a pay protection plan. And let's say, for example, they get you home a day early or half a day early. Then you request your home time, right? So because I'm only out Monday to Friday for the most part, and I'm home every single weekend. So let's say, for example, I get back to the terminal Friday night, right? So, and I want to go home, right? And then come back on Monday morning, right? So the thing is, there's a catch to that. So if you do that, you're gonna basically lose pay protection plan just by doing that. So just because it's over 40 hours. And so when that happens, for me, I feel like I got to spend the night, at least one more night in the truck, and then leave Saturday morning. So that way I won't lose my pay protection plan when I basically, what the hell was that truck doing? Sorry, that was distracting, but anyways, back to the topic here. So basically, so I do have to spend at least 5 nights in a truck to not lose my pay protection plan. So I have to basically go home exactly on Saturday morning at 8 a.m. and then be back no later than 8 a.m. Monday. So that way I don't lose my pay protection plan. And keep in mind, you gotta be back in that truck by 8 a.m. on Monday. If you decide to go home at 8 a.m. on Saturday, right? So hopefully this clears enough for you. For me, I feel like that's a con a little bit in a way, because there are certain times on Friday night where I do want to sleep in my own bed, but I can't. But I don't know. But that's just me. So that's just only a personal preference. So it may not be a con for you. So, but to me, I feel like it's a con in a way. What in the hell is that driver doing? Sorry, I got distracted with this driver. I don't know what the hell he's doing. So that's a dirt con. But honestly, when the more I think about it, really too bad, but it's kind of like a love-hate thing, really. I like it, but I don't, you know? But anyways, let's move on from there, because I feel like getting too deep in this topic as it is. And what else? I think that's it for the cons wise, you know? And other than that, I feel like they do get me home on time, most of the time anyways. But sometimes when they do it too early, then, you know, you gotta take everything in consideration of factors. So yeah. So I think I'm pretty much done with the cons. I think that's like the only 3 major cons I could probably think of that it does bother me in a way. But other than that, like, what else? I'm trying to really think here. It's really hard to memorize everything in your head, so just be patient with me on that. But I don't think I could think of any more cons, honestly. But if I do, I'll probably will just mention in my other videos. But alright, so let's just move on to the pros rating. One of the pros is the trailers. The trailers are well maintained compared to my last company. So the trailers are well maintained. So, and the equipment, for me, I feel like it's decent. And the reason I say it is because I'm sitting at a basically 2021 Heartland Cascadia, and it does have a lot of miles on it. It has almost 365,000 miles on it. So that's the reason why I'm saying the equipment I have is decent. And I'm pretty much in the list of getting a new truck anyways pretty soon. So yeah, so like once I get a new truck, then my answer will be changed otherwise on that. And hopefully in the next 4 to 6 months, whatever. But yeah, so right now my only answer is, from my own experience, I could say the equipment is decent. It gets the job done. Yeah, I had issues with that first, and then those issues got solved, and then I didn't have any more issues after that. So keep in mind, when you go to Heartland Express, you might wind up in a dirty old truck. So just be prepared for that when that happens. Like, it may not happen to everybody, but it does happen to some people, and I'm just one of those people that land on that, I guess. So yeah. And then, alright, moving on to pro number 2. Pro number 2 for me, I feel like, compared to my last company, is the macros. The macros are so short, to the point, like, you're literally in and out of there, like, so quick as it is. So you don't, because compared to my last company, I remember I had to do all these freaking, as soon as I get to the shipper, I had to do 5 macros before I could leave. Like, that crap, it was so annoying. And not only that, they ask you so many questions on top of that. Like, so many damn questions, to the point, like, it was annoying. And on top of that, I had to do a live loaded call. And that thing was so annoying too. And I do not miss doing that. And by the way, they don't have live load calls either in this with Heartland. Just in case from any majors that are curious to know, no, they don't do live loaded calls here. So I like the fact when you get to the shipper, it's just 2 macros. Arrive shipper and loaded call, and that's it. And even in the loaded call is plain simple. They actually maybe like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 questions, and then that's it. At that, you're out. So that's one of the pros for me. Like, I don't miss punching all these freaking macros. The macros here are so simple to use. Like, when you get a load, basically, like, it's from shipper to receiver, and then for the receiver, it's only 3 macros. Well, actually 2. It's arrive consignee, scan your BOLs, and then your empty call, and at that, you're out. Plain simple on that. So that's the pro for me, I feel like. Alright, so, and then, let's see. I think that was a pro number 2, I believe, or number 3. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember the best I could right now. And then, I'm trying to think what other pros there is. The pro for me, I feel like, is just because I am regional, so I'm only out 5.5 days, sometimes 6 days, with 40-hour reset. So I feel like that's a pro for me, honestly. You know, so consider I'm Southwest Regional, and I'm gonna go over the pay for that too as well. So I probably should just go over the pay at this point. You know, I feel like this video is gonna get too long as it is. So, all right, so let's go over the pay, because I think that's the most important, guys. You guys are most curious of. Just keep it mindful. And I did have to print these out because for some reason they just send everything through email. So yeah, so and it kind of has a little bit of information here. So I'm planning to cover a little bit, and then I'm gonna say them out and then show you the kind of the dollar amounts that actually took home. So that way I'm not lying to you guys. So let's go over my pay. So keep mindful, I am Southwest Regional, and I am out for 5.5 days with 2 days off. And honestly, I could make more if I max out my 70 and only take a 34-hour reset. So that's just all preference on you on that part. But me, I like being home every single weekend. So for me, it's a pro for me for that. All right, so let's go over the first paycheck. And the first paycheck is going to be very, very low because this paycheck is basically orientation, and then I did do one load going back to the house. Just mainly because I had to go back home and get my stuff for the truck. So I did have to take that weekend off, of course, to do that. So let's see here. So keep mindful, when you do orientation pay and orientation in Medford, Oregon, they're only gonna pay the minimum wage. So, and the minimum wage is $14.70 an hour out there. So, currently as it stands right now. So my first paycheck, I'm gonna cover as much as possible. First paycheck, even my first load, orientation pay, I made, and also keep another thing in mind too, I am actually on per diem as well too. So take that with a grain of salt too as well on that. I am actually on per diem as well. So my gross is going to be a little bit less, just for that reason. So for my first paycheck, I'm going to cover as much as possible. I'm just going to mention it and then show you guys a little bit. So what I took home for a first load in that week orientation in general is $478.81. So to prove that I'm not lying to you guys, let me just cover my address and all that. I don't want you guys to see all that. I'm not sure how well you guys can see that, but yeah, that's how much I made with my first check with orientation pay. So this one, obviously, I didn't average too many miles like that, just because like I did have to go home and get my stuff. So I only did 280 miles for that week. So, and I actually am paid per mile too as well. I'm at 48 cents per mile, and that's one of the cons. It's kind of low in my opinion, especially as a regional driver. So that's with me with 1 year experience. So it may be different. You may have way more experience than me. Obviously, you get paid a lot more because you have more experience, obviously. All right, so that's my first paycheck, orientation pay, and my next paycheck. As in for my next paycheck, right? This is basically specifically just driving for 1 full week, pretty much maxing my 70-hour clock. I think this one's 3 pages as well. Yeah, so for that week, I did 36 hours for that week on duty time, and I did 1,315 miles for that week. It's mainly because I had issues with the truck at first, so I did have to take it to the shop and all that. So it was kind of a horrible week. I did have to take the truck to the shop for about 3 times, and of course, like, you know, my 14 hours / 70-hour clock I had to consider up too as well. So my next paycheck, my first actual driving paycheck, surprisingly, is not too bad as I thought it was gonna be, considering it was a horrible week I had and I didn't average too many miles. This one I got paid $959 for that week on the second week. Wait, yeah, the first week of driving. So the proof to you guys, I'm not lying. I'm just gonna have my address. So yeah, $959 for that week, which not too terrible, considering the week I had, and considering the fact that I didn't really average that much miles for that week. All right, so as in for my second week of driving, keep mindful. I only stayed in California for that whole entire week, so miles wise is not the greatest. I did like 45 hours for that week too as well. So, and I did 1,371 miles. And I was mainly staying in all over California, from SoCal, Central Cal to NorCal. So my take-home pay for that is, and this is the least I made so far from Heartland Express. So this is my lowest paycheck as it is. So keep in mind of that. So that week alone, I made $853.02. All right, so I'm gonna cover this. So proof that I'm not lying to you guys. So that week alone, just staying in California in general was just not the greatest pay, honestly, but honestly, like, I can't really complain too much because I really was in Cali the whole time, so I didn't really go out of state like that. So I was basically doing intra-Cali, if that makes sense, for that part. And then as for my next check, which this one was decent as well, which I will admit to you on that. This one was pretty decent. Check here. That third week alone, I made about, let's see. So how many hours I did? I did 1,514 miles for that week. And then I did on duty time 38 hours and 47. And then I did go to Arizona too as well, in Phoenix, and come back. So Arizona, Cali. Surprisingly, this paycheck was pretty good so far that I made here. I mean, better than I made for my last one. So so this check I made is $974.76. So proof that I'm not lying to you guys. There it is. So that week alone was by far the most I made so far that week. And then going on to my next paycheck here. And I think this one I was only in California too as well. Yeah, I was only in California, but this one I did average out a lot more miles than I did that following paycheck as well. So this is like my last current paycheck I made last time. So this one I made $884.95. And for only being in California and not going out state to state, it's pretty decent. It's okay. Let's just say that. Let's see here. This one I did 1,829 miles, so I almost very closely got 2,000 miles for that week. Very close. All I needed was 100 and what was it? Maybe 200 miles more, and I would have basically averaged out 2,000 miles for that week. And I did do on duty time 53 hours on my on duty clock. All right, so I'm gonna cover my address and all that. So to prove to you guys, I made $884.95 for my last paycheck. So yeah, so this one's not too bad so far. So that's the pay to expect if you're a Southwest regional driver. Obviously, you'll make a lot more if you would have done OTR, like I'm talking about all 48 states, or Western 11 or just OTR on the East Coast. Just keep that mindful of that. So as a regional driver, covering my last company, it's decent. It's not too bad. You know, do I want more money? Yeah, I do, obviously. But for now, it's okay money. Like, it's not terrible, but it's also not great either. So, and I do have to keep mindful, I'm only out 5.5 days and with 2 days off. So I do have to keep that in mind too as well. I could probably make a lot more if I would stay out 7 days a week. We're only doing a 34-hour reset. So for a guy that's out Monday to Friday and sometimes Saturday and have every single weekend off, the pay's all right. It's decent. You know, I can't complain too much about it, even though at first I was like, why is... But at least I'm making more than I did in my last company. So that's all that matters at the end of the day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this is very helpful for you guys. If you're thinking about going to Southwest regional, and that's what you expect, you do have to rely on the pay protection plan a lot too, because like I said, you only average out 2 to 500 miles a day. So just keep that mindful for that. I kind of wish the cents per mile was a little bit higher than 48 cents. Than 48 cents per mile. Like, I feel like it should be 55 cents per mile. But that's the pay rate for when you only have 1 year experience of driving. So, but obviously, the more experience you have, the more better pay you'll probably will receive than me. So, all right, guys. So I'm pretty much gonna wrap this video up, and I'm glad you guys came and joined and all that. And I'm still debating if I'm gonna do vlogs or not. But the thing is, what that is, they seem like they're on the strict side about doing trucking vlogs, so I kind of low-key don't want to do that as of right now. Unless I get the green light from safety department, then, you know, obviously I could do it, you know. Well, I'll get in trouble and get fired, because just keep mindful, when you guys doing trucking vlogs, that's basically a safety liability right there. So you could get fired for that shit as well. So just keep the guys at the back of your guys' heads, you know. Like, you could possibly lose your job by doing trucking vlogs and basically getting road footage, basically. So I probably could, but I always have to just do only voiceovers. In which I don't know if I want to do that. I feel like it would just be too boring to me for me to do, honestly. So I feel like this week is gonna be good for me, because I did some loads in Cali, and then I got a load from Reno, Nevada, all the way down to Buckeye, Arizona. So that's like 700 and almost 800 miles, pretty much. So I feel like this upcoming paycheck might be better than all my other ones, just for that reason. So, all right, guys. Hope you guys have a good day. Stay tuned for my next video. Subscribe, like, comment, share, and dislike the video if you don't like it. It's not a big deal. As long as there's interaction with it, it's all good. All right, guys. I will catch you guys till the next time. Peace.